Hear me?
Hey Federico, it looks like your mic failed a bit, but if you can talk more, maybe you can check.
Let me change the mic 1 second. Hello, it's on now?
Yes, I think it's better now. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Welcome everyone to Kleros community call number, I don't know, but this is February 5, 2025. And as I've said last few days, we have uploaded all of the community calls since the beginning of the project. So if you want to um, listen to me speak endlessly for hours and hours, since 2019. That's when we started, I think, recording or doing the community calls. You can feel free to do it, and it's also good materials for putting you to sleep at night if you so need. But well, it's also a transparency to our community, because now you can know all of the evolution of Kleros since the early days. So it's on YouTube. There is a playlist with the community calls. Yeah, I didn't remember that we had done some community calls in Discord actually, but we found some of them there. Okay, let me see what we have. About updates for the week. Last week, we already discussed a bit about curation. We discussed about all of this Coinbase approach to listing tokens and how Kleros can help with well, filtering out tokens that are sent to be listed, and this was the goal of the app that we call Kleros tokens, that we launched in 2019. At the same time we launched the Kleros 1.0 version. We also launched that app, that was a curation approach to well, listing tokens that comply with the rules that were required by back then. We partnered with Edfinex. I don't want to get into this again because we discussed this last week. Just mentioning that my week I have been working on this with Fortunato, who is product manager that joined us last month, to work on all of the curation products, basically token listing, and also we real world assets. And about this, we are going to have actually a webinar that's going to be done on I think it's going to be on February 20 26. At the time of the community call, we will have this webinar where we will present a number of approaches of Kleros and Curation, to showcase how Kleros can be used for as a tool for certification of well, different things. So we have already, as you know, Mike from OpenVino that uses Kleros Curate to certify organic wine. So this is one of the use cases. There is also a member of the community who is from Germany, and he works the cooperative in on the Black Forest region in Germany, and he well, they have a very similar approach to certification as in OpenVino. So OpenVino does this with well, organic wine, and this gentleman, they want to research how we can implement the same approach of curation and certification in the context of dairy products. So this is going to be super cool. So he will explain how they plan to replicate what Mike is doing in the field of dairy. And then there is another person who is going to present about how, well, we will present ourselves about tokens and Kleros Scout and how Kleros can certify like Ethereum or other blockchains addresses. and also another approach about how Kleros can be used to as a cybersecurity tool, in particular to try to prevent, well, malicious transactions done through blockchain addresses, and this is useful for a number of compliance matters. So we have that. I'm not going to say much more because we already discussed this before. Then we have this week a very something that makes me very happy. We discussed a bit last week, but it's the first court where we have AI agents as jurors. So if you want to go back to 2016, very, very long time ago, even before Kleros started, I already had this idea of decentralized justice, and I was interviewed by Max Kaiser at that very famous show called Kaiser Report, and in that show, I was telling him, look, Max, imagine in the future we will have, we will spend lots of our time in like the VR world. We didn't call it metaverse, but now they call it metaverse. And in that world, you will have lots of agents of bots that interact with you, and then maybe you will have a dispute with the bot. So a bot could eventually sue another bot, uh, and then this could go to a dispute resolution system made of some of the tutors could be humans, another could be bots. And I was saying this with a straight face, and Max Kaiser was looking at me. Yeah, this guy is telling me that you're going to have a panel of bots for disputes happening in the VR world. Um, I mean, it took us like 9 years, but now this is actually happening. We spend lots of time in this world of VR, and well, not VR, but if you are in a social network, you are kind of in a VR world, in a virtual world, in the sense that you, even if you don't have the helmet, but you are still under a digital jurisdiction, and and these jurisdictions are being more and more populated by bots. And now we just created the first bot court that will resolve a number of cases that are typically cases that Kleros was a bit, was harder to solve by humans because you need decisions done in real time, for example, or very fast. If you are doing like some esports dispute, and there's a dispute in an esports tournament, you sometimes need like a decision done like almost in real time, because if you take a lot of time to make the decision, then this might result in the tournament being delayed. Imagine like in the VAR for football, if it took you like 4 hours to reach a VAR decision. It wouldn't be very fun to watch a football game, right? Maybe for baseball it's okay because people are already used to boring games, but in football it should not be that long. Um, but I'm sure William will disagree with that, but he can comment on that later. Okay, so for this type of use cases, you could use like this court where bots like analyze evidence very fast and can do decision very fast. So I will let William comment a bit on the parameters. If you can comment about of the baseball if you want as well, William, on the parameters of the
Yeah,
court.
yeah. As a baseball fan, I just want to object that you're accusing our game of being boring. It's riveting games. They wouldn't want to wait 4 hours for a VAR decision either.
It's fun for big
But
brain people, or for people who have like enough $14 beers that they sell you at the baseball, stadium.
Yeah, but so for the parameters, like the main thing that we like a long-term mature version of this court would have to get to this point about having short, the wait times, would be short period times, which is not a feature of the current proposal that we have, because we imagine people in sort of the initial launch of this sort of court for AI agents might not have their mature rig of AI agents that are ready to monitor the blockchain to see when disputes arise and vote automatically without an interface, just sort of all autonomously. Probably in the beginning, people will like mess around and test, and maybe they have their AI agent that they have locally on their computer that they like plug manually dispute into. So the dispute times are like the period times are the same as the period times in the parent curation court that are designed for humans. But if the thing goes well, you can eventually lower the period times until it's short, almost instantaneous period times, at least for a first round of dispute resolution. And for the fees and deposits, we don't really have a good sense of how much it costs people to operate agents like this to answer these kinds of micro questions with some AI bot. Again, in some mature version where you have your agent doing this autonomously, we have. So ultimately, the fees would need to be calibrated for that. I came up with some sort of guest fees that are based on what Arbitrum gas costs, and then added, some sub-dollar payment, figuring that might be on the scale of what you would want an AI agent to receive. But if people have experience in running these kinds of systems and know what it would cost to run an AI agent to autonomously handle Kleros cases, please reach out to me and give feedback on the fees.
Like in theory, if we can, so let's imagine we use the bot Kurt. I mean, we are going to experiment with different use cases because we have an idea that it could be used for content moderation, already said esports. Like, could one conceivably use this Kurt for William? Let's say, like proof of humanity profiles. Could bots do that decision?
I mean, maybe it's just a question of like, is the bot doing a good enough job to provide satisfactory first round dispute resolution? Like, what's the error rate? How important are those errors to people? The thing where I think that bots are like absolutely necessary in proof of humanity, and I've been sort of like discouraged not to see more people like doing this, at least not that I'm aware of so far, is challengers need bots to compare submissions to the list to potential duplicates. Like that, considering there are thousands and thousands of people on the list, like that's like you just absolutely need a bot for that. And if you have a bot that can do that, then like a priori, maybe that bot can also be a juror. It just sort of depends on how good of a juror it is.
Yeah, because in the end, this is kind of a decentralized version of, I mean, think of a KYC app, right? Traditional KYC app. I mean, what do? They have a algorithm that, you take a picture of your passport or whatever they ask. And then this is fully, I mean, mostly automated. And then it just goes to like a human verification if something went wrong or something, didn't work with the automated part. This is the most efficient way of doing it. If you can do it in an automated way, and this reaches, I mean, a good decision. I mean, in the sense that it has a good accuracy rate. It's fine. You want to do it with automated methods because you always want to use the most efficient, methodology, right? So it's fine. But then there is some percentage of situations where the automated part doesn't work, and that is where we need humans. So this is how we think generally about how AI and humans and crowdsourcing will interact in the design of dispute systems. Partially, because the other part is the use of AI for what we do with Lemon, anonymization of cases, helping parties to improve their the position or report through like ChatGPT. So there are different ways in which AI and crowdsourcing will interact. But yeah, this is one of those as appeal. So you will start with like an AI court, and then eventually, if there's an appeal, it will go to like a human verification process. So we'll see. We will start testing, and I'm sure we will have maybe, if we get on time, some cool things to share with the people at the King's College event that we are planning for April 24. Right, William?
Yeah. Like one point on decentralization in this as like a value in this view of AI agents acting as Kleros jurors, and like what roles are automated, what roles require human supervision. You've talked a lot. We talked a lot about having sort of alignment between bots and humans because there's this appeal process to human beings. But also, I think it's worth pointing out that if you compare this to like a centralized system where you have some specific bot that's programmed into your user interface that's checking your KYC, like you're locked into that specific system. There's not this feedback, not only not this feedback mechanism to have the human being sort of like give oversight. But in a system like Kleros, if bots are participating as jurors, they're competing economically with each other. The bots are in kind of like a marketplace to try to align best with the human beings. So, it's not just like one bot that's making your decision. It's, sort of like the market of bots, which may be better.
Definitely. This reminds me. I mean, if you guys want to see where all this started, you should just read the paper by the people from Agoric. Agoric systems, and that's where all of this started. And yeah, and but I don't want to get into the rabbit hole now. But yeah, so okay, so big news from the week. This is the week when the first AI court was created in Kleros. This is something we can eventually, and we will definitely discuss at the King's College conference. If you happen to be in London or you want to go to London, April 24, we are going to host this event in partnership with the AI Institute at King's College. So you might imagine that. Well, London is a very important place for the AI, basically because that's where DeepMind was founded, and so a lot of the ecosystem of AI is in some way related to London, and we also have a very good collaboration with Oxford. We have discussed that we are looking for a candidate to do a doctorate in computer science at Oxford, researching mechanism design for centralized justice, and for sure some of this will overlap with AI. Okay, that is one of the things that happened this week. I will let maybe Marcos, if you want to comment a bit on business development, go ahead.
Hey, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes.
I suppose, yes. Okay. Yes, so about the updates of the BD team, this week we have been working and talking with a few, in first place, yes, with a few provinces of Argentina, or let's say like governmental entities that want to replicate what we have been doing with Mendoza. Remember this contract we have with the the people of Mendoza, where we are resolving neighbor and consumer conflicts. So this might be replicated in. We still didn't have a contract signed, so maybe for the moment it's better not to mention which place, but it's something very similar to what we have been doing in Mendoza. Then in second place, we are next week with Facundo Trotz, the policy writer in Kleros. We are going to meet a very important person, like political person, let's say, from Argentina. He works in the consumer protection, yes, everything related to consumer protection. And the idea is to have like Kleros as an alternative here. We still have to talk about different things. There's an important figure in Argentina where Kleros could fit. So, well, we are preparing our talk with them, and we will come with some updates next week. That's the most important things from what I've been doing from I've been working this week. Maybe I don't know if we have Fortunato. I think he was here, and no, I think he was going to join us. So maybe when he joined, he can talk about his updates, Federico.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see him, but if he comes, he can. I already mentioned a bit about what we are doing about curation and certification, but if he comes, he can obviously expand.
Yeah.
So this is fascinating, this work we're doing with the government in Argentina, because it could lead to, well, as you know, we have discussed about Mendoza, and we are getting a lot of interest from different regions in Argentina, provinces, and eventually, well, it's important to try to get like a legal figure where Kleros can fit into Argentinian legislation. As you know, this already happened in Mexico because Mexico has a new law of dispute resolution and innovation that was officially enacted on January 2024. So, well, at some point, what's going to happen is that either by passing new laws in Congress or by administrative decisions, so Kleros will start finding its its legal place in the legislation of different jurisdictions. So this is the starting, well, bigger steps where Mendoza was Mexico. Well, it starts, of course, it moves slowly because states move slowly, but it also moves surely. So we will for sure have news about that over time. Okay, so that maybe Jean, anything else from you?
We have well, Wemian today presented internally a tool where it's easy to create a front end for anything. And one of the things he started building is a new front end for reality, which has an interface that is not very modern, to say the least. And we to help, for example, since we have lots of integrations that use reality, he is now working on something that well, the Kleros integrations could interact with, and it's a lot friendlier and easier to understand. I think it's already in read only mode, so and it will probably be ready in a couple of weeks. And I'm very excited about this because I think reality it's a very versatile tool and easy to understand and get people to play with Kleros. And having this new interface will allow us to do that more easily. And we also have updates about the the V2 interface. There's now a jurors tab where you can see your performance and how you compare with other jurors. For example, you can see your coherency rate, how much you earned, how much other jurors earned, and you can go to their profile page and see how they voted on some cases. So the V2 is a little bit more social in this regard. And don't see my position on the leaderboard because it's it's horrible.
Well,
But
I mean, you wanted a more transparent world, you know, you cannot just choose when you want transparency or not.
yes, yeah. So well, people can see that I voted incorrectly. If they can take that as a donation, like redistribution of rewards
It's called
to
public
other
good
jurors.
funding.
Yes, exactly. And, but it's I think it's another step towards like having like a very friendly site, and with all the features that we expected it to have, it is progressing towards that. And there's also the developer team has been working on some changes to make like issues with subgraph to be to not impact the user experience of the site, and this has been a challenge ever since Kleros started because of the nature of subgraphs, and well, it's a constant battle, right? There was an update, I think, 2 weeks ago, where the interface already shows if there's something wrong with the subgraph, but well, there's still something that can be improved. And the developer team has been also working on escrow v2. there's if you try the version 1, it's a bit outdated now, and the version 2 adds lots of new functionalities, new improvements to the UI, like just as you can see that the Kleros V2 interface is a lot better. It shares lots of these components and innovations, and adapts it to the escrow use case. So looking forward to testing that out as well. And also the new website is coming soon. It looks great. We tried it internally today, and looking forward to have that as our modern business card.
Exactly.
And
Okay.
one cool thing about the website is that it's very easy to edit. So our BizDev team and everyone that should be editing the site basically will be able to do it very quickly. Not only the developer, so we don't have like that barrier. And since we are constantly expanding and getting new use cases, the site will be updated.
Cool. Yeah, so we have that. I don't know when we're going to publish it, maybe in 2 more weeks, maybe. And yeah, and I guess that's it, right? For this week, we already had a very long call last week. And the Spanish one was also very long. But no, we have lots of different things coming, so happy to share all that. Yeah.
Have you mentioned? Oh, so go.
Yeah, I think maybe mention the event that you will be participating on.
Oh yes, go ahead.
Manchester. I actually, if you can talk about it better, because the webinar with Manchester University or something like that.
Yeah, I was invited by Manchester University. I don't know why we have so much good traction, in the UK. Maybe because of Magna Carta, common law. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I was invited to speak at the University of Manchester. It's going to be a webinar. This is going to be, I don't remember the the date exactly, but it's on Twitter. I think can share. Then right in like 1.5 hours, I'm going to give a talk about Kleros and content moderation, see the gov, and I will a bit explain how we envision decentralized justice be applied to content moderation decisions. First time, this was already in our white paper. Then I spoke about this in 2021 at HCC, and then we participated in a conference in Switzerland about distributed solution in social media, and I presented about that. So I've never spoken about this in Spanish, actually. So it's going to be actually a cool opportunity to speak about these topics in Spanish. And then there's going to be a future key thing. I think Jean, maybe? I don't remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there will be a talk about future key with Clement talking about SEER and what we are doing at Kleros as well, or thinking about doing, and but the people from Butter as well, and with SeedGov, since they are involved on several different DAOs. They are interested in this as well because it's already something that Uniswap is exploring, and other DAOs are looking towards exploring this too.
Yeah, so I have AI prediction markets. The future is here. What can I say?
Curate. Well, they have Curate certification webinar with Mike and Dennis.
Yeah,
I think you're going.
I mentioned that. Yes, it was. This is on 2025. It's in a
26 on the 26th of February.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. So we have so many things, I would say now we are already a think tank of governance, decentralized governance at this point. Like the solution is just a small part of what we do. So yeah, that's cool. Okay, I guess that's it, guys. Anything else, Gene? I might be forgetting.
Just the usual. We have the rewards for curation. If you want to participate, there's a pool of rewards for tagging contracts that are not tagged on block explorers yet. And well, just join the Telegram group, and we post updates there, and you can ask questions directly.
And one last thing I forgot to mention: this week, most probably, or at the beginning of the next one, we are going to be creating a new pilot case, and it's going to be the last one with Mendoza. The idea was at the beginning to do 3 pilot cases. In January, we stopped this because, well, vacation and that stuff. But now we are going to create the last one. After this, we are going to be ending this like trial period, and it's going to be live.
Okay, well, thank you guys for coming, and well, see you next week. Okay,
See you next week. Bye bye.
bye bye.
See you.
Bye, everybody.